Hello JEE Main aspirants, welcome to cuberootlearning, and in this video we'll be discussing on JEE Main 2025 last 60-day plan or strategy or roadmap, whatever you say. But this has got to be the most realistic plan that you should follow. One other thing which I would like to say is that I'm not doing this video to sugarcoat that you will get 99 percentile in this last 60 days or 97 percentile in last 60 days and all. See, this depends on what is your level of preparation, how much you have prepared, how much you worked hard, what like how consistent you were, and how did the day of examination goes. And depends on the people that you're writing in the shift, right? You have examinations in shifts, and which a shift you are in, and depends on the people who are writing in your shift. It is not just your hard work. It depends on a lot of external matters and also your hard work at the end of the day. But I hope what you're getting what I'm trying to say, right? See, if you write a full syllabus mock examination as right now without any sort of preparation, just simply write one, get a certain percentile or a mark. But if you follow the strategy that I'm going to tell you in this video for the next 2 months till before your examination, if you follow it and in the January session, if you write your examination, the percentile that you're going to get will be always greater than what you got right now by simply giving the examination. If you write the April session also by continuing the same in the April session, maybe you might get 99. For April session, you almost have what? 4 months, I guess. So if you start now, it will give you a lead for your April session. And there are so many other people saying that April competition will increase this and that. If competition increases, you have to be the competition. You're getting the point. There are people who say that it is very hard to improve your percentile from January to April. But I'm saying if you work for it, you can improve. Maybe 99 percentile can be possible in the April session. So let us start. If you've seen my videos before, I always say that solve the previous year questions. So since you don't have much time, please solve the previous year questions of 2024, then 2023, then 2022. Solve it in this particular order, giving importance to 2024's previous year question. There are so many people who say that my theory I haven't done anything and this and that. And there are people who watch crash course one shot videos which they will be teaching one particular chapter for 6 7 8 hours a day. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, this is I don't know whether it works or not. I've never tried that. I don't think it is the most effective method. See, you have to solve problems in the JEE Main examinations. They are not going to ask. See, they are not going to check did you do PhD in the subject or you know the theory or the concept or the definitions. No, they're gonna see are you able to solve the problem in that limited time. Are you getting the point? So solve the previous year question by looking at the solution and then learn the formula or the concept used in that question, and also learn how to approach. To see a question, you need to learn how to approach that problem solving method or the ability. That is what you have to develop. How to develop that by solving a lot of problems and only solve the previous year questions. Okay, and another pro tip is that write down only the formula or the concept used in that question in a separate notebook, say a PYQ concept notebook. You just make one notebook like that. Write down the formula or the concept that is used in that question. When you solve more and more previous year questions, you will realize that certain formulas or the concepts are actually repeating. So what you have to do, take a previous year notebook, concept notebook, right? You will see that questions are repeating. I mean, the formulas or the concepts are repeating. Make sure you put a star mark near that. If you write it once, just write it once, one particular formula. If you see that that formula is repeating again and again, put a star mark so that you will get an idea that you should not skip this formula or the concept. This is like frequently being asked. Another thing is that by solving the previous question, you'll also realize that a lot of questions are repeating. I think I've mentioned about it in the next slide. Yeah. Okay, anyways, a lot of questions are repeating in the previous questions in the sense concepts. I'm saying numerical values are changing actually. Okay, so there are repeating, right? When you write in your Jamin also, that question may repeat. And I have made a dedicated video on mathematics previous year question analysis. I'll provide the link in the description box. Make sure you watch that video. You'll realize that certain topics are like repeating so many times. and there's a very high probability that it will repeat in your examination also. Follow this approach only for physics, maths, and physical chemistry because these subjects are more problem based solving than theory oriented. But for physics, make sure you read the NCRT also because theoretical questions are being asked in physics. So I'm repeating once again, make sure you read NCRT for physics also. It's important. And for inorganic and organic chemistry, first you learn the theory, then you go and solve the previous year question. For inorganic chemistry, you can read the NCRT book, then you go and solve the previous year questions. Organic chemistry, if you're someone who hasn't studied organic chemistry properly in your entire life, please don't study it for January session. Instead, focus on rest of the chapters that you have in your syllabus. Okay, and after the January session you can prepare for organic chemistry. You can watch lectures for organic chemistry, it is fine because that is, you need to know your theory properly in order to solve the questions in the organic chemistry, especially the reaction mechanism and the hydrocarbons, which are the base of the organic chemistry. You need to know that two chapters very well, then only you go and study the rest of the chapters if you can. Otherwise, you're getting the point, right? Just skip it for January session. Maybe for April session you can study, you can watch lectures, it is okay for organic chemistry. Another thing which I would like to say is that while solving the previous year questions for maths and physics and all, if you are not able to like understand the concept of the formula, you can either go and ask your mentor if you're going for coaching and all. Otherwise, you can watch a video regarding that particular topic to just to have a better understanding. Okay, please don't mug up the solutions or by heart the solutions. If you're learning a question A to Z, then learn that solution properly. Learning in the sense understanding and learning how to solve it. Don't by heart the step like after this step I'll do this step. No. Understand so and solve. If you're not able to understand, either you try to like as I mentioned earlier, go find a mentor or for a doubt clearance, or maybe you can watch videos regarding that. Otherwise, just skip that question. I hope it's clear. And read NCERT for inorganic chemistry I mentioned earlier, and solve NCERT for maths also. I know it sounds very weird, but solving NCERT for maths, I know maths level is really compared to J advanced, it is similar, just not, there is no any difference. But solving NCERT for maths will help. As I mentioned earlier, make sure you watch the video I made for that, made based on mathematics analysis for previous year questions. Watch that video. In that video, I've showed numerous examples where NCERT question is actually being repeated in your previous year question, especially for the chapters probability, permutation combination. I know permutation combination there is a very important star marked questions and all asked out of contest and all, but NCERT kind of questions are being asked. Make sure you go check that. Vector 3D NCERT is more than enough. Solve if you're having very difficulties. If you solve few questions of NCERT, right, it will help you, to have understanding that this many kind of concepts are there in your syllabus, and all. You will give a rough idea. For that, also please do solve. To analyze the previous year question, you can see that as I mentioned earlier, 70% concepts used in the questions are repeating, and only the numerical values are changing. You can go see it for yourself while solving the previous year questions. And also, there are about 70 percentage of questions which fall under easy to moderate type. So focus on those questions instead of the hard questions. See, if you see solve the previous year questions, when you go through the solution, you will realize that there are certain questions that is really, really hard to solve. And even after seeing the solutions also, you're not understanding what the hell is going on. So what you have to do is just skip that question. I hope it's clear. You have 70% of questions that is actually doable, then why are you running behind that 30% of questions? Why are you running behind those uncertainties when you know that 70% of the questions in the question paper of JEE Main or chapter wise you're able to solve? Why running behind the question? See, if you solve any question in JEE Main, you are going to get only plus 4 mark, whether it is easy question or hard question. And hard questions you can give an attempt, you can see the solutions and all. But if you're not understanding the solutions, don't by heart, just skip that question. Just do what is doable. Okay, for April session, maybe you can start doing the hard questions because more by the end of December, by solving all these previous questions, maybe you might have covered 50% or 60% of the syllabus and all. Maybe after January session, you can solve for the tougher questions and all. But as of now, just focus on the doable, moderate questions. You just have to crack this examination with a decent percentile for January session, and April session you're going to aim higher. Okay, so let us move on to the next point, and that is the revision and the mock test. Yes, so there is no special time period for revision. There are people who complete the 100 percentage of syllabus, then I will start revising the whole syllabus from 1 week before the examination and all. In my opinion, that is a very terrible idea. Revising the whole syllabus 1 week before the examination is not going to give enough retention power for while writing the examination. You won't be able to remember all of these. So for that, I hope you remember the previous year concept notebook that I mentioned earlier. Please dedicate 1 hour to revise that notebook particularly. That notebook is like the gold mine for you. In that notebook, you have written all the formula or the concepts that has been asked in the latest previous year questions. So obviously the concept and the formulas are going to repeat. So if you keep revising that notebook, it's going to give you a head start, right? If in case if you're lucky enough and in your shift, if those concepts are being asked, it's like a win-win situation for you. So make sure you revise that notebook every day, at least 1 hour. Revision in the sense you just simply read it or simply just look and write it down. Every day you do it for the next, you know, 60 days till your examination comes. Starting from now, you start solving certain questions. So don't dedicate any separate time like for last 1 week before the examination. I will revise the syllabus and all. It's not going to work out. Practically speaking of which, and the ultimate revision strategy is to give the mock examinations. No matter how much you have completed the syllabus and all, until and unless you have given the mock examinations, you won't know what is your level of preparation. Are you going in the right direction and all? You will never know. Give unit wise examination till December end, twice a week. Unit wise examination means, like for example, for physics you can take modern physics, and chemistry maybe physical chemistry, or mathematics vector 3D matrix determinant. Combine this as a unit and give a mock examination, multiple set of chapters, right? So you can give unit wise examinations till December end. Starting from next week or so, as of now, you start solving certain previous year questions and covering certain chapters, right? And another thing which I would like to say is that while solving the previous year questions, don't focus on one chapter. Every after 1 hour, you just change the chapters. If you solve 1 hour for physics, the next hour you go take chemistry and solve, or max, or maybe another chapter in physics and all. Just mix it up. It's fine. There is no problem in that, because you need to have a practice of solving multiple chapters at the same time, because in an examination it is not giving chapter wise, questions are not going to come, right? It is all mixed up. I mean, subject wise it is being asked, but you're getting the point, right? Every 1 hour or 2 hour, if you're solving, change the subjects in order to being avoid being bored while solving it, right? And start giving full syllabus examination from January onwards. First of January onwards, you start. Give it twice a week. Same, just give mock examinations twice a week. You don't have to give it every day. And while giving the mock examination, that is where you have to develop your time management strategies. By looking and solving the previous year questions and all, don't develop this time management strategy during that time. Just focus on understanding the concept over there and how to solve it. That is more important. But this time management should come while you're giving the mock examination. That is where you should develop. How much time you have to give for physics, chemistry. See, everyone has different time management approaches. There are people who say that you first you to solve physics and chemistry, then solve maths. In my opinion, you make it your own strategy. Okay. See, maybe you can start by solving only the doable questions of physics, chemistry, maths. Then the next round you can solve like the moderate level or the little bit tougher questions and all, right? So it depends on that. I hope it's clear, right? There are questions in the paper that, see, even if the main hard shift is also coming, out of the 75, at least 20 or 30 questions are doable kind of. Other 45 questions are only going to be tough kind of, if it is a tough shift, right? More than tough shifts, more problem comes is where, maybe the shift is moderate and all in JEE Main, but because of the questions being lengthy, that is where this time management issue comes. Then people say it is tough. You getting the point? Maybe 40 questions are easy and only 35 are not doable, kind of hard questions might come. I hope it's clear, right? So you develop the time management strategies with the time limit. That is when you give the mock examinations. So start giving mock examinations unit wise from next week onwards. For 1 week, you just only focus on solving previous year questions or the chapters which you are interested to solve. Okay, and simply giving mock examination, it's never going to help you. You need to analyze your mistakes and you have to make improvements, and also make a mistake notebook so that you can write down the mistakes that you have done and you can revise it. While giving the mock examinations is that you will realize that which formulas you're actually forgetting, where your concept is weak, which chapter you haven't studied properly. There are a lot of things you will understand when you give a mock examination. After giving a mock examination, make sure you get the solution of that examination and try to solve it by looking at it, same as I mentioned earlier. And if you're making careless mistakes or not, why are you making careless mistakes, right? All these things you should analyze, and this is very important. Without this analyzing, I would say that just don't give mock examination. That is more better. It will save your time and energy and all. But if you're giving mock examination, make sure you do this. If you don't do this, it's not worth your time. Okay. And most importantly, consistency and revision is the most important part of your preparation. So you have to be consistent every day. And another thing which I would like to say is that while you solve the previous year questions, is that one question you look the solution, you understand it, and you solved it, right? After a 10-15 question, you will see that the question what you did before, the same type of question is being repeated, right? So when you read that question, try to do that question without seeing. I hope it's clear, right? When you try to do a question for the very first time, make sure you see the solution, understand the formula, concept, and all. Then try to do it by looking at the solution. But when you see a question like this, after 10-15 questions in that particular chapter, it will repeat. I'm 100% sure. We'll see that question is repeating. Make sure you try to do that question without seeing it, and you will try to do it without seeing also, because what's the thing, what's the point is that when you see a question and you have seen the solution and all, your brain already know that I have seen this question, and when a question like this come, you have to do this kind of approach. Your brain already knows. When you see a question like this coming in the next after 10-15 questions or in your mock examinations, your brain will get a spark. Your brain will be like, I've seen this question before, I can do this spark and this confidence is what you have to develop while solving the questions. I can only say a proper strategy, and make you don't have to follow this completely blindly and all. Just follow according to your study for the January session. You'll get a certain percentile. See, just don't think about what percentile I'm going to get. Don't keep any target. Your only target should be that you're going to work hard for this. You're going to give your best shot. And if you get, see, if you just think in this mindset and you write your JEE Main examination, and in the January session, if everything goes well and if you get a very good percentile, your confidence will boost like up in the sky. You will be so confident that you will work harder for your April session, because you know that you started from zero and you could do till this much you were able to do. For April session, you will work harder if you don't have any overconfidence, as of sure. I hope it's clear, right? So you don't keep any target. I want 90%, 95%, 99%. No need. Just focus on giving your best shot. And trust me, if you follow this, you will get a decent percentile. So thank you so much for watching.